Join us as we take you behind the scenes of making a feature film, so you can see the whole thing as it happens from start to finish.
So what do you look for in actors in a casting?
So when you're doing a casting, I think you have to be very, very clear about what you are trying to achieve. Like any task, you should always be clear about your objectives. I feel that if you go into a casting and you're a bit unclear about what you're looking for, and you go in there thinking, well, I'll know it when I see it, that's fine. Because you may have fantastic instincts, and when you see what you want, you may recognise it straight away. But it does help to have a few key things as well that you're always looking for as specific parts of the actor. The first thing you should always look for is ability to take direction. Okay, so you may find an actor who does the scene brilliantly and does the audition like it's scripted, but then when you give them some acting and directing cues, like you say, okay, play it a little bit like this or a little like that, they just don't change. There are some actors who they can sometimes you can be pleasantly disappointed when you realise that they just do one type of character and they just can't change, and if they try to change, it doesn't work. So ability to take direction is just so vital. Even big Hollywood stars, top actors, will pride themselves on their ability to change and adapt according to the character, according to what the director wants, according to what the story wants. Even those big guys are not so arrogant that they will think that they just know how to do it. They'll trust and respect the director. And you want an actor who trusts you, who respects you, who listens to the direction that you give them, and they actually act differently according to your direction. So that's number one. You want to, have a few directing cues to give them, just to make sure they listen to you and they do it the way you want it done. Number two, I'd say, you want people who have the ability to act. So, the ability to convey the character in the way that you want. The next thing is a commitment to the movie that you're making and a commitment to the role. Because you can find a good actor or actress and they look perfect for the part, but if they are late for the audition, or they don't turn up, or there's some problem, and then you cast them and then in the rehearsals they don't turn up for the rehearsals, what's the point? They can be fantastically gifted, but if they've got other priorities and they're not prioritising the film that you're trying to make, then it's almost like you haven't got anyone. So, as soon as you can, you want to test and check, are they really committed to your project? And if you're paying them quite low pay, you definitely want to make sure of that. Are they really genuinely reliable? Yeah,
that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Like reliability,
yeah.
Whether you can count on them to, attend to rehearsals and, get in contact. If you need to get in contact with them, you don't want to be able to not get hold of them. Everything like that is really important.
Yeah. I mean, it's just peace of mind as well. You want people who are easy to work with as well as good to work with. So,
and passionate about the project and what you're doing as well. And naturally, if someone's passionate about something, then they will take that call. They will be at that meeting. They will, be wherever they need to be to get it, to get the project to work. So
absolutely.
They tie in together, those two things.
Yeah, fantastic. I say after that, probably the next thing is you want actors who the audience can empathise with. Okay, so if you have an actor who is gifted and conveys the character the way you want them, but the actor is just not likeable and they're annoying, for you, they'll probably be annoying for the audience as well. Now that's fine if the character is supposed to be annoying, that's fine, but if the actor is just not likeable and it's hard to empathise with them, then you've got a problem. You've got a real problem there. Because the reality is that all successful actors, they have this special thing that people just warm to them. People just want to watch them. People just, for some reason, they just empathise with them, and they want to kind of root for them, and they want them to overcome the hurdle, and they want them to get the girl, or make all the money, or whatever it is. So that that's something that's indefinable, is that likability. So when you're casting, you want to be thinking, okay, is this person I'm casting now, could they potentially be a star in the future? Am I discovering somebody? Is this person got that special something? And I think if you're thinking about that, you might find it. But if you're not even thinking about it, you'll never even spot it. Even if it comes right in front of you in the casting, you may miss that gem. And
I think it's important what you're saying about the likability as well, because you know, it can really change the dynamic of the finished film if you don't like the character that you're meant to like, because it can change the whole thing. You want to follow along the story, but somehow you can't empathise with them, you can't root for them if you don't, you know, have that empathy for them. So it's really important. And sometimes you probably would have noticed, even in films where there's an antagonist or a baddie, you still have to kind of like them in a certain way. Like you still want to watch them, even if you're like, oh no, you're bad. So you still need to have that likability, even if it's a good or bad character.
I think that's such a good point, that even baddies in films, you can sympathise with them and understand them and empathise with them. That is brilliant acting. If an actor can be horrible and the baddie, and you still have feeling for them, and you know, that just shows what a quality actor is playing that part. So it's an important point, because even Hollywood and the big budget movies get this wrong. You know, I've seen a lot of films where there's been an actor playing in the role, and it's been big budget, it's been a new actor, and the film just dived. It has just failed. You know, and in the press there's talk about the fact that the main actor was not engaging, and people didn't engage with the actor. You know, they got it wrong. They spent all that money, they made a movie, they cast someone in the key role, but the audience didn't buy into that character. They didn't buy into that actor. So, you know, even the big budget movies, they get it wrong. So, you know, don't make that mistake. You know, and we certainly would try not to make that mistake. You know? Yeah. So that's very important. And I think the final thing probably is you want to be looking for an actor, and this sounds quite obvious, but you know, it's something that you need to be thinking about. You want to be looking for an actor who becomes that character. So becoming the character, it basically summarises a gifted, good actor, and it just summarises, you know, an actor who is right for that part. Can they become that character? You know, when you're watching them, do you feel like I'm actually watching the person? You know, that real character. They're not an actor anymore. They're that person. They're that character. If you see that, then you know you're onto something. You know, someone who's really potentially gifted. So that is vital. You know, and
yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of that will come from, first of all, just the natural. You know, their characteristics and whether they just click and become that character, but also part of that is whether they've done their own kind of not research, but you know, practicing the script themselves, doing their own character development in their own time. That does really show, because if they've thought into the backstory of the character, that will come out in their acting as well. Whereas if they haven't, and it's just on the surface and there's nothing deeper to it, that also comes across, and you can tell that it's just them playing it rather than becoming it. So
it's very true. So I mean, it sounds like, you know, we're talking about a lot of things that, you know, you may be thinking, well, that's quite a lot to consider, but the reality is the more effort you put in at this stage, the more you're gonna, you know, develop your production, and the more you're going to get out of actors, and the more you're going to understand the characters, and the more you're going to understand your actors. So all of this thinking time, all this preparation time, it just translates into the quality of your film later on. So it's all worth it, because every little bit of effort you put in is gonna, you know, it's gonna pay dividends later on. So, you know, just stick with it, and you know, make sure you do the best you can, as we're certainly trying to ourselves.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe to our channel. And if you found this video useful, you can find loads more free resources and courses at esafilmscourses.com. So what are you waiting for? Go to esafilmscourses.com now.